Hello everyone, welcome to Storytime with Tamarin, back inside. It's a bit later today. I was a little bit tardy because I went to meet a friend. She lives actually quite near Hampstead Heath, so we got to walk to sort of the Golders Green side of that and see the deer, because there's deer there, which I didn't know about. Anyway, it's been a long day of sunshine, which has been great. So story time's a little bit late today, but we are back. I am joined in the studio with Ted. Hello. Nice to see you all again. Mr. Robin is here, of course, and Yusuf the unicorn. Hello. Oh, doesn't normally talk. He's getting a little bit more gregarious, isn't he, Ted?
Yes, it would be nice to hear him do a bit of presenting at some point.
Yeah. Well, maybe he will. But you know, you're my my right hand man at the moment. So we are week gazillion. But I've really turned a corner now that I feel like I can see friends and not worry about it. Like it's okay to meet a friend in the park, you know. What day is it today? Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. Hello, Benjamin. It's a Tuesday, and I hope that you're having a lovely day. Anyway, we are reading The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. We are on chapter 6. All my videos for this book should be in this event that I've posted. They're also on my YouTube, and I've posted that link below. My YouTube's quite funny. It's a mixture of like videos for kids, like picture books, which are equally relaxing for adults, and also there's some proper adult books there too, some poetry. There's a thing called Future Storytime, which is about the law of attraction. Ben, hello, loving the late start so I can join in. Yes. And hello, other Ben, loving the headgear. Thank you very much. Well, I'm actually doing a bit of a kind of lockdown experiment with my hair at the moment. I'm trying to let it go au naturel for a bit. So I get to experiment with lots of lovely headgear in the meantime. Hi, Chris. Maybe a later time is better. We'll see. Anyway, so yeah, all the videos are on there, and I've been doing a law of attraction kind of chat show thing as well about how do we navigate keeping positive in this very, very trying time. So check that out too. The second episode will be up soon. But yeah, back to The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. We're still kind of at the beginning. We're not anywhere near the middle yet. And all the children have been at this house because they've been evacuated and in the Second World War. And Lucy and Edmund have been into the wardrobe, and Edmund has been very mean because he lied to the other two and said, no, it's not real. Narnia's not real. So I'm wondering if the professor whose house it is knows. I'm also wondering if Mrs. Macready knows, the kind of mean housekeeper. So let's see, shall we? Chapter 6, Into the Forest. I wish the Macready would hurry up and take all these people away, said Susan presently. I'm getting horribly cramped. And what a filthy smell of camphor, said Edmund. I expect the pockets of these coats are full of it, said Susan, to keep away the moths. There's something sticking into my back, said Peter. And isn't it cold? Said Susan. Now that you mention it, it is cold, said Peter. And hang it all, it's wet too. What's the matter with this place? I'm sitting on something wet. It's getting wetter every minute. He struggled to his feet. By the way, they're in the wardrobe. Let's get out, said Edmund. They've gone. Ooh, said Susan suddenly, and everyone asked her what was the matter. I'm sitting against a tree, said Susan. And look, it's getting light. Over there. By Jove, you're right, said Peter. And look there, and there. It's trees all round, and this wet stuff is snow. Why, I do believe we've got into Lucy's wood after all. And now there was no mistaking it, and all 4 children stood blinking in the daylight of a winter day. Behind them were coats hanging on pegs. In front of them were snow-covered trees. Peter turned at once to Lucy. "I apologise for not believing you," he said. "I'm sorry. Will you shake hands?" "Of course." And Lucy did. "And now," said Susan, "what do we do next?" "Do?" said Peter. "Why, go and explore the wood, of course." "Ugh," said Susan, stamping her feet. "It's pretty cold. What about putting on some of these coats?" "They're not ours," said Peter doubtfully. "I am sure nobody would mind," said Susan. "It isn't as if we wanted to take them out of the house. We shan't take them even out of the wardrobe." "I never thought of that, Sue," said Peter. "Of course, now you put it that way, I see. No one could say you had bagged a coat as long as you leave it in the wardrobe where you found it. And I suppose this whole country is in the wardrobe." They immediately carried out Susan's very sensible plan. The coats were rather too big for them, so that they came down to their heels and looked more like royal robes than coats when they had put them on. But they all felt a good deal warmer, and each thought the others looked better in their new get-up and more suitable to the landscape. "We can pretend we are Arctic explorers," said Lucy. "This is going to be exciting enough without pretending," said Peter, as he began leading the way forward into the forest. There were heavy, darkish clouds overhead, and it looked as if there might be some more snow before night. "I say," began Edmund presently, "oughtn't we ought to be bearing a bit more to the left? That is, if we are aiming for the lamp-post." He had forgotten for the moment that he must pretend never to have been in the wood before. The moment the words were out of his mouth, he realised that he had given himself away. Everyone stopped. Everyone stared at him. Peter whistled. "So you really were here," he said. "That time Lou said she'd met you in here, and you made out she was telling lies." There was a dead silence. "Well, of all the poisonous little beasts," said Peter, and shrugged his shoulders and said no more. There seemed, indeed, no more to say, and presently the four resumed their journey. But Edmund was saying to himself, "I'll pay you all out for this, you pack of stuck-up, self-satisfied prigs." "Where are we going, anyway?" said Susan, chiefly for the sake of changing the subject. "I think Lou ought to be the leader," said Peter. "Goodness knows she deserves it. Where will you take us, Lou?" "What about going to see Mr. Tumnus?" said Lucy. "He's the nice faun I told you about." Everyone agreed to this, and off they went, walking briskly and stamping their feet. Lucy proved a good leader. At first she wondered whether she would be able to find the way, but she recognised an odd-looking tree in one place and a stump in another, and brought them on to where the ground became uneven, and into the little valley, and at last to the very door of Mr. Tumnus's cave. But there was a terrible surprise awaiting them. The door had been wrenched off its hinges and broken to bits. Inside, the cave was dark and cold and had the damp feel and smell of a place that had not been lived in for several days. Snow had drifted in from the doorway and was heaped on the floor, mixed with something black, which turned out to be the charred sticks and ashes from the fire. Someone had apparently flung it about the room and then stamped it out. The crockery lay smashed on the floor, and the picture of the faun's father had been slashed into shreds with a knife. "This is a pretty good washout," said Edmund. "Not much good coming here." "What is this?" said Peter, stooping down. He had just noticed a piece of paper which had been nailed through the carpet to the floor. "Is there anything written on it?" asked Susan. "Yes, I think there is," answered Peter. "But I can't read it in this light. Let's get out into the open air." They all went out into the daylight and crowded round Peter as he read out the following words. "The former occupant of these premises, the faun Tumnus, is under arrest and awaiting his trial on a charge of high treason against Her Imperial Majesty Jadis, Queen of Narnia, Chatelaine of Cair Paravel, Empress of the Lone Islands, etc., also of comforting her said Majesty's enemies, harbouring spies and fraternising with humans. Signed, Morgrim, Captain of the Secret Police. Long live the Queen." The children stared at each other. I don't know that I'm going to like this place after all, said Susan. Who is this queen, Lou? Said Peter. Do you know anything about her? She isn't a real queen at all, answered Lucy. She's a horrible witch, the White Witch. Everyone, all the wood people, hate her. She has made an enchantment over the whole country so that it is always winter here and never Christmas. I wonder if there's any point in going on, said Susan. I mean, it doesn't seem particularly safe here, and it looks as if it won't be much fun either. And it's getting colder every minute, and we've brought nothing to eat. What about just going home? Oh, but we can't, said Lucy suddenly. Don't you see? We can't just go home, not after this. It is all on my account that the poor fawn has got into this trouble. He hid me from the witch and showed me the way back. That's what it means by comforting the Queen's enemies and fraternising with humans. We simply must try to rescue him. A lot we could do, said Edmund, when we haven't even got anything to eat. Shut up, you, said Peter, who was still very angry with Edmund. What do you think, Susan? I've a horrid feeling that Lou is right, said Susan. I don't want to go a step further, and I wish we'd never come. But I think we must try to do something for Mr. whatever his name is. I mean the fawn. That's what I feel too, said Peter. I'm worried about having no food with us. I'd vote for going back and getting something from the larder, only there doesn't seem to be any certainty of getting into this country again, when once you've got out of it. I think we'll have to go on. So do I, said both the girls. If only we knew where the poor chap was imprisoned, said Peter. They were all still wondering what to do next, when Lucy said, Look, there's a robin, with such a red breast. It's the first bird I've seen here. I say, I wonder, can birds talk in Narnia? It almost looks as if it wanted to say something to us. Then she turned to the robin and said, Please, can you tell us where Tumnus the fawn has been taken to? As she said this, she took a step towards the bird. It at once flew away, but only as far as to the next tree. There it perched and looked at them very hard, as if it understood all they had been saying. Almost without noticing that they had done so, the 4 children went a step or 2 nearer to it. At this, the robin flew away again to the next tree, and once more looked at them very hard. You couldn't have found a robin with a redder chest or a brighter eye. Do you know, said Lucy, I really believe he means us to follow him. I've an idea he does, said Susan. What do you think, Peter? Well, we might as well try it, answered Peter. The robin appeared to understand the matter thoroughly. It kept going from tree to tree, always a few yards ahead of them, but always so near that they could easily follow it. In this way it led them on, slightly downhill. Wherever the robin alighted, a little shower of snow would fall off the branch. Presently the clouds parted overhead, and the winter sun came out, and the snow all around them grew dazzlingly bright. They had been travelling in this way for about half an hour, with the 2 girls in front, when Edmund said to Peter, If you're not still too high and mighty to talk to me, I've something to say which you'd better listen to. What is it? Asked Peter. Hush! Not so loud, said Edmund. There's no good frightening the girls. But have you realised what we're doing? What? Said Peter, lowering his voice to a whisper. We're following a guide we know nothing about. How do we know which side that bird is on? Why shouldn't it be leading us into a trap? That's a nasty idea. Still, a robin, you know. They're good birds in all the stories I've ever read. I'm sure a robin wouldn't be on the wrong side. If it comes to that, which is the right side? How do we know that the fawns are in the right and the Queen, yes, I know we've been told she's a witch, is in the wrong? We don't really know anything about either. The fawn saved Lucy. He said he did, but how do we know? And there's another thing too. Has anyone the least idea of the way home from here? Great Scott, said Peter. I hadn't thought of that. And no chance of dinner either, said Edmund. End of chapter 6. Oh, sorry, they're just so posh, aren't they? They're posh little kids. Great Scott! Oh, blimey! Oh dear, no chance of dinner. Let me show you the picture. I kind of went past it. Here they are in the woods, all 4 of the children there. They've got lovely big fur coats on. We can pretend, of course, we can pretend that they're not real fur. But they will be very nice and warm. Oh, and look, there's Mr. Robin. Mr. Robin, you're in the story. I like robins. I know they're notoriously meant to be quite mean, actually, very territorial and have big fights, but I don't know. Aren't we all a bit territorial? Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Hi, Mark. It's been a pleasure. I'm glad that I just rushed in and did that then. It's probably a good time before dinner. I've posted below the donation link for the domestic abuse charities that I've been raising money for a period of this lockdown. So please do chip in if you fancy. Something that obviously is also in great need of support, as well as other things that are going on right now. Calls to domestic abuse charities have doubled, I believe, either to the charities or to the police as well, to go and sort situations out. So they can do with our support. Oh, what was the other thing? I posted something else. Oh, I posted my YouTube. Oh no, I did post something else. It's time for me to do some shameless self-promotion, guys. If you've watched this, if you've been watching my videos, please bear in mind I've been sight reading all these books. So, you know, that's kind of the level of performance we're at. But I am a professional voiceover artist and actor looking for work. If you have any projects that you would like voiced, please do let me know. I would love to help you out if I can. I now have a proper home studio. Just got to plug in the old microphone. Just been talking to my friend that helps to set up studios to a professional standard, so he's also going to look in at what I've done and probably help me in some capacity. Yeah, so if you know anyone that needs any voiceover work, I am plugging myself now, because it's got to that point where I don't know if our self-employed help is going to continue, and if it doesn't, I got to start working, guys. So yes, there's that. I do all sorts, video games, audio books, commercials, corporate, educational. I do all sorts of accents. I do all sorts of ages. So there you go. That's me. Please feel free to message me on Messenger. I think that's it for now. Today is Tuesday. So we'll be back tomorrow at 4, because I've advertised it at 4, and it means that I get the evening to myself. I don't know. It just kind of cuts the day in half as well. It's quite a good time. Doesn't matter, does it, really? Most of the people watch this not live anyway, so it doesn't really matter. God, I'm in such a good mood today. I saw a friend. Yeah, it's been really, really nice to hang out, get some sun, and just shoot the breeze. Yeah. Have a lovely evening, guys. Yeah, I hope you're well. And if you're not well right now, I hope that you're okay. And I hope you get better soon. All right. Big love.